And now for something not completely different. That's right, it's our second restream of the community flag set for Cecil and the quest for the Holy Crystal. I am Sir Jokermage of the comms table. Joining me tonight is Sir NG Dave the restreamer, Sir Bardic Panda the tracker, and of course our liege, Garen King of Commentary. Unfortunately, Garen is temporarily turned into a newt. I'm sure he'll get better shortly, but in the meantime, we have several wonderful runners today going about this quest. Sir Scarsford the Brave, Sir Fiery Blizzard the Fearless, Sir Jay Brun the Valiant, and Sir Harumph the Heroic. And so we're looking forward to having a really interesting seed. And if you haven't already told, it is in fact Monty Python and the Holy Grail themed. All of our objectives are based on elements from that. For example, defeated DKC is quite obviously fighting the Black Knight and hopefully chopping off a few of his limbs and seeing if he'll just stop attacking you, even though we know he won't. But there are some interesting aspects to this flag set. The character flags, it is Sea Hero with Cecil Hero, and I believe that is our liege. Aaron, how are you doing?
Doing all right.
And you commentated on the previous restream for this flag set. Was there anything that was really interesting that stood out about this flag set when you ran it that time?
One of the things that really stood out was that it was a little bit different from the other ones, which is all the meme potential available.
Oh, there is lots of meme available. For example, in the character flags, there is no children, so Horum, Palom, and Rydia are all portraying the role of Sir not appearing in this flag set.
Yes, so it's a bad idea to take children on a quest to get the Holy Crystal, even though the Japanese would disagree with us.
And additionally, we do have, I believe, without Palom and without Rydia, I think Fusoya is the only one who can cast Nuke. So if you want to get that Holy Hand Grenade out, I'm pretty sure you're going to need to find Fusoya.
If there's a Fusoya to be found.
And we're starting off with Kane as the sidekick, and that is Valvalis guarding the castle, so we will be seeing her again because Baron Castle is one of the objectives.
Yep, so vanilla starting characters, great way to start. So apparently this would be King Arthur and Sir Lancelot are together to start with.
And how would you go about starting this? Where would you want to check first?
First place I would like to go, given that it's too wildish next to 7, is I would probably want to go to Elbin Castle, just check out the non-trap chests, look for some goodies there. Because, you know, the odds that there's either a sword or a spear are pretty good.
And it looks like Harumph agrees. I would agree myself, but we do have some divergence with two of the runners going towards Watery Pass instead.
Yeah, Watery Pass is also not a bad option on T-Wildish because with it being on Wildish, it sort of incentivizes locations that are a bit out of the way, which Watery Pass is because there's no objective here, there's no boss you need to kill here, there's no, well, character doesn't really matter even though there isn't one here anyways. Silkweb Kamikaze, not too bad.
It looks like Skyser is already headed up to Mount Hobbs to see who's going to be the next intrepid knight to join his party.
Yeah, and it looks like it is our only white mage of the seed, really, if you don't count Fu, Rosa.
And that is also Asura at the sort of holding her hostage. It's a pretty easy place to fight Asura. Not as fast. You could probably even use life locking if you wanted to, I think.
Life locking is an option. It is a little bit harder the way Scarcer's party is set up because everyone's in the back row, which means that Cecil isn't going to really do much given his equipment. And the accuracy is also a little bit diminished back there, so it might be a good idea to maybe change rows for this, although that kind of hurts too.
Yeah, this is one of those flag sets that you do kind of want to prioritize ordeals, it feels like, just to get your paladin up and running.
Yeah, Jay Brun found a Blizzard Spear in the Dame Scene treasure, which make this Ashura a lot easier. And yes, keeping up with the memes, Guinevere is the first one in the party here, so yes, the Unholy Arthurian trio is together again. Rump is now going to take a look at Mount Hobbs himself.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a little bit of convergence here, just, to get some party members into rotation.
Yep, and of course, all right, so Dwarf Axe and back row glitch that Kane and has a defense sword that's really going to put Kane online.
And also, going back to the character flights, we should also note that it is no free characters and no duplicate characters.
Yes, so unfortunately the Dream of 5 Cecil's just wailing Z down for the first Big Bang, not going to happen tonight.
Well, it is also win game, so Z is taking a break. I heard that he was trying to take over a French castle, and they just drove him away by calling his mother a hamster and telling him that his father smelt of elderberries.
Well, that's one way to do it. Z is probably a little bit wondering when the next tournament's gonna come up to try and get rid of him, ZZ6, but that's upon hold, he's a little bit sad about that, so taking a little holiday.
Yeah, and while we're dealing with the Asura, it should be noted that there are, looks like 4 boss checks in this particular flag set, and that's quite a lot.
Actually, I think there's there's 4. So DKC, the officers, Golbez, and Wyvern. So the nice thing about boss hunts, or the bad thing about them is, if one of them is really buried, you could go through and legitimately get close to 34. Just recall the previous seed on this flag set.
And we do know that there are key items on the moon and in some spots, so there is going to be a bit of looking around to find any necessary progression. Additionally, there is no free key item, so there is sort of the informal boss hunt that is demist.
Yeah, so, you're looking for bosses quite a bit. I mean, I wouldn't go hunting for that demist early for the most part. I mean, if it's sitting either in the waterfall or in this cave, that could be a bit of a bad time, but usually it's not there, and it makes sense to try and put those off until it's like if you're ready to go to the moon or something, just to make sure if you only need 1 or 2 more objectives.
So with the high percentage of boss hunts in this flag set, you wouldn't want to prioritize those 2 easy locations just in case you have a almost certainly free objective at one of them?
In the early game, since it's going to take a little bit longer to get rid of them, not so much. Once I can one-shot whatever happens to be there, then fine, I'll check it if I haven't run across the bosses already by the time it's ready to go to the moon.
And we are also going into Antline now for the key item. I think actually we might have missed it, but Fire Blizzard already is done. That is some form of Mylon.
Yeah, this is Mylon Z, which is not too terrible to see down here because it only hits physically, and this spot has one of the lowest physical attacks in the game. So this is going to be sent packing to very quickly, and yeah, there it goes.
Yeah, in spite of the early divergence, there is a lot more convergence, and that's just largely because at the beginning there is fewer things to check. But I would expect that we'll probably see some people go up ordeals sooner rather than later.
Yeah, you want to get the Cecil online, which requires ordeals, and we're also looking for underground access, and there's only a few places that you can go to find that. We've gotten the Baron key, which gives us the throne as an extra option over the 4 usual checks in this starting flag set, but we're going to be looking for either a magma key or a hook until we find one.
And Scosser is checking out Ebelin Castle themselves now, so sort of catching up with the checks that others have done.
It finds a glass helmet, which will be nice.
And Harumph has headed off to Baron Inn to see what's here. That is Sid with Octonaut.
Yeah, finds the cursed ring in the little storeroom there. That'll be nice. Not that you necessarily want to curse your Cecil, but it is an option if he gets too fast.
Yeah, I guess it's maybe not as with Z not in the picture, like getting specific agilities may not be as important, but you certainly want to make sure that your agility anchoring is done for several of the other fights later in the seed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking mainly of the Fey March bosses if they turn out to be required. Oh, we have a Sparkle here in the inn. It's just a Pale Dim. But yeah, with a defense sword, this should not be too bad. Kane's got a power shirt on, so I mean, Kane should be pretty much almost indestructible here. Yeah, there's 1 HP of damage. You can just basically let the other two parry it themselves up, because there's no experience here, and just let Kane wail.
Yeah, and as long as you're not throwing elemental magic, Pale Dim's usually not very tough to deal with.
Could be a little bit punchy here if you didn't have the defensive equipment, but Power Shirt makes this kind of free, so. And Jaybrun is going to enter the same fight.
And I think Fiery Blizzard already got through Baron Inn as well. So, Fiery Blizzard maybe a little bit ahead, and Scarcer's a little bit behind, but still all very close together, I think.
Yeah, Fiery must have done because he has the hook that is coming from this Baron Inn, I believe. Oh, it's Fabul? Okay, never mind.
But we do see Fiery getting the hovercraft out and possibly going to go and check on either turning the rat tail or go check out what's in Neblin Cave. And also doing the waterfall check while here.
It is a Leviathan taking a bath in its natural habitat.
Yeah, not required, not interesting, so just let him be.
Yes, apparently snakes in lakes with swords also not something you want to deal with. We'll turn on the rat tail. It is Magma Key. Oh, so we have both Hook and the Magma Key.
Oh, sorry, but it did look like Jaybrun may have wiped to the Pale Dim. And we do have Fiery Blizzard going and checking Eblin now.
Yep. There's a character here. There's also some shops that should be better than average because they are behind a key item. Finds a trap chest right away.
I mean, that does make looting a lot simpler.
Yep, can just skip it and get everything else. We have a Drain Spear for our ninja to throw once we find him.
Now, I think the only thing is I don't know if they have any, or if Fiery has any exit casters at this point, or any exit items. So we'll probably have to walk out unless the Eblin Cave person happens to be Tella.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we find that there's both Bacchus wine and sirens in this shop. It is loaded.
Very good shop to know about and to have access to.
Yeah. Also silk webs. I mean, all three items you might want are right there.
And we have gotten the bridge keeper on the bridge laughing at us while asking us what our favorite color is. It's Golbez, and that's probably the first objective we've seen this seed.
Yes. We won't see the jokes about, or the questions about swallows on the stream, but at the same time, they are being asked by Golbez, and, you aren't going to throw him off the bridge like the other spot, but he will still be dispatched in short order.
You just have to know a lot more about swallows than he does.
Well, the good thing we have a future king sitting in the party. Also, Jay Brennan will also have to realize with the Golbez here, underground access is not here, so we'll eventually have to go somewhere else to find it.
Now, right now, to me, this is looking like it may just be a hook route with that hook at Fabul. But I guess Baron Castle itself, because we do have the Baron key, is a possibility for Magma Key.
We did find the Magma Key.
We did?
It was the red tail turn-in.
Oh, so, okay. I must have missed that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the hook is a decoy. And speaking of decoys, we have a mop playing the role of Edge today.
Well, at least we have a nuke caster now if we want to start throwing nukes out at it all.
Did you say nuke caster? You might have the Toad, which is probably the stand-in spell for that. Okay, runners, panic time. And yes, who knows the newt spell does not know it looks like exit or too much useful with black magic yet, but we can fix that.
It does give us slightly more incentive to check all the boss checks even without having 4 boss hunts.
Yes, and Fiery is actually going to progress down this hook route just to make sure with the bosses, because the boss at hook route 1 has fuddled many a runner who realizes very late in the seed that it's like, oh yes, there is a boss there, and guess what? It's required, and I have to go get it.
Now, which boss would you like to see here at the hook 1?
At hook 1, well, I mean, it's always fun seeing the Nope Noodle on this route any which way it shows up, especially since, Cecil is not Paladin yet, so that's going to make it a little bit more challenging because you really can't contribute with the cover strats. And Fiery is going to show us what's down here.
This could be a very bold play, too, if these are more or less, doable, then... Oh, nope.
That is elements, and based on what Fiery had already seen from the first boss, it's not required to dive the hook route, so is going to just simply walk this out.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. If you don't want to deal with those bosses and you've got Magma Key already, go use it. I think that does mean that unless one of the others goes and finds that Magma Key, that Fiery will definitely be the first one underground.
Yeah, I mean, because the hook, when you find it, will naturally lead to suggest turning in the rat tail before you dive, I think most of runners are going to find the Magma Key. Just because, I mean, it's a very quick check, you still get key items. I can't imagine them not checking it for diving the hook route.
So it's more of a question of when they actually get around to hitting Fabul.
Yes, and Fabul can often be faded because with the Sheila checks there, I kind of like to find the pan sometimes to make sure you only have to single or maybe at the worst double dip it. But I mean, with 4 or 5 boss hunts on the table, it's probably worth it to just go do it anyways fairly early just to make sure that if there's a boss there, like maybe a cheeky B-mist, that you've already got out of the way.
Do you think some of the runners might try to hit Liberate Baron Castle since it is an objective first?
Well, one of our runners is already doing that on screen. Scarcer is saving just outside the castle right now. And, yeah, we know it's Val to start with from what we saw at the beginning of the race. We just don't know what the other 2 bosses are in there.
And we do have Kane, so Val shouldn't be too difficult to deal with.
Yep, J-Run is dealing with the inventory boss, along with the fact that he just got the tower key for going up Mount Ordeals. And it's a mom bomb here. This is fairly nasty for Cecil to have to face because A, he has no equipment on, and B, starts off with a pretty crappy silver sword and nothing else.
And it looks like Fiery is joining them on Ordeals first before turning in that Magma Key.
It makes sense. I mean, you want Cecil online because the longer you wait to get him online, the less experience he has, just because he gets his reset. Yeah, needs to back row glitch the Cecil, so Harvey's gonna take a turn and do that. I'll put the defense sword on and Won't be able to kill this before it does its explosion. Joys of level 1 Cecil.
Yeah, and there's no way around this fight because you can't go and level up because once you do the changing room, all those DKC levels are gone.
Hey, yep. So no matter what you do on a Cecil Hero Seed, it's always a level 1 Cecil with, in this case, whatever the game happens to give you. We are nice to give you a Dwarf Axe, just in case it's really, really bad. We have that as in case of emergency break glass. And this would be nice to have a J item to get through this, because if these things punch enough and get off explosions, it could be bad.
And we have another objective at Baron Castle. That is Officer Soldier.
Well, the king decided that he's just going to outsource this to the army today. Camelot is a very silly place, and so is Baron.
It's like they formed an anarcho-syndicalist commune there, and now everyone just runs it for themselves jointly.
Yep.
This does also mean that Baron Castle is good, one of those lovely double objectives that gets you a lot of stuff. Yeah,
well, I mean, if you can't fade Baron this time or to win the game, because it's got at least 2, could have more. I mean, I think that Baron Castle has at times had many, many objectives hiding behind it, including a memorable time where it had 8 objectives. All 8 in the seed were in some way linked to Baron Castle.
Indeed, we could have Edward as the character here, and maybe one of the forge items as the item, in which case 4 different objectives would be linked to this.
We still have a boss in the basement too, which would give us another one. Another chance at the forge items. I mean, it's like it can be pretty, yeah.
And Scottser is through that, so we'll get some answers shortly.
Let's see. To answer a question, chat, there are 7 objectives. Runners have to do 7 of them. We just don't have enough buttons on this template, so we sort of doubled up a little bit.
And that was Yang, not Edward, unfortunately. So we still have to find Edward somewhere.
Yes. Yang is the Fabulian who says Fa, and Fu is the Fasoyan who says Fu.
And we're going to check the secret trash bin to see what item was cast away by the officer soldiers.
They threw away a spear.
So 2 objectives, but a decent enough spear if you've gone to go dragon hunting, and Wyvern is one of the objectives.
Yes, and you have someone who can wield the spear, so that's always helpful. Unlike Seeds where it's spears galore and there is no cane. Alright, Scarcer is going to take the trip to Ordeals. As Harumph and Jabrun loot out these trap chests from Eblin Castle, looking for a holy sword. And it's a good play to do it here because, for whatever reason, the game likes to stick holy swords here in Eblin traps. Probably about 50% of the time, I would say, just based on experience.
Yeah, and this is Sea Hero, which means even though the Forge is one of the objectives, there is always the chance of getting the Zonk weapon that Cecil has.
Yes, meanwhile, Kane decides to betray Cecil yet again, totally on brand. And betrays Sid at the same time. Alright.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's how the Arthurian legend goes.
Yes. Lancelot gets everybody else killed and tries to take the queen.
And Scarcer is now getting to cross the bridge, while Fiery Blizzard is about to run into the unholy hand grenade that is Mom Bomb.
And Harv gets another Dragoon Spear from that trap chest. Not what he's looking for there.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but are Dragoon Spears throwable?
I believe those are.
Because I know that some spears aren't and some are, but if it is one of the ones that you could always hold on to it and let Edge throw it later, or just sell it and cash in.
I think the rule of thumb is the earlier ones tend to not be because the game programmers didn't think you'd have Edge around there at that point, so why would you make a spear throwable? You're supposed to have sold it long before you get Edge.
We do have Jay Brunter taking on the Mad Ogres, and Harump's still looking for some of the other trap chests in here.
Yep. Also waiting for the eventual April Fool's Day, which is omni-eatable, which is everything can be thrown.
Skyster is through Golbez, so that's objective 3 already.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't light anything. Oh yeah, we can light up number 2. That's right. So, trying to see how the series of darts. Yeah, well, I don't think I ever played that one.
A white shirt from the next chest, I believe was.
Yeah, it's a little bit disappointing on the loot here so far. White shirt is good for Cecil, if nothing else, because it has a lot of defense on it. Also good for that Rosa at some point if you need her to heal.
So Fire Blizzard does have his Paladin online. Do you think he's just going to go straight underground now, or will he also go hunting for a fancy sword?
It's an interesting call. I mean, I would probably check Evelyn myself in this case if I don't have anything good for him. I mean, there is a defense sword, but, Kane would like to share that too. Although there are some spears for Kane, so, I can go either way on this one. If there is a Holy Sword in Evelyn, then you lose a lot of time by not getting it. If it turns out Evelyn is a Zonk and you fade it, then you gain a lot of time, because everyone else is probably going to take the time to loot this out.
And it looks like Fire is actually going to go ahead and check Baron Castle, and we'll find the extra objectives there.
Yeah, well, there's an old rule of thumb in this game. Do your objectives, do your freebies. Liberate Baron is an objective. So it makes sense to go and do it, because if you've got the power to do it, why not? We'll start off with the inn first, though, which he hasn't done yet.
Yeah, and get Sid, get rid of Octomam and Pale Dim, then go take on Val and the Officer Soldier, it sounds like.
Yeah, and also there's an incentive to do bosses because, who gets spells with levels, and he has 8 more levels to go before he reaches max, so doing this Baron gauntlet will get him 4 or 5 of those that he needs. A chance to get Nuke along the way here, too.
I'm also wondering if he's going to end up checking the basement, or if he thinks he has levels for checking basement.
If Fu gets Nuke before he gets to the basement, I think we see a check of basement. Or Quake, either one.
So it's really just a question of, can Fu get the power?
Mm-hmm. And also of note, Swag Rocks, okay. Having Fu in the party, Fiery got Fu almost 10 minutes ago, I think, and nobody else on stream has Fu yet. And especially as Fu gets some better spells in here, it's going to become an advantage that's going to stack up the longer the other party members fade this whole thing.
Additionally, I don't think anyone's checked Mist Cave yet, and does having Fu incentivize you to check Mist Cave for the more or less free boss at this point?
It would if I still need Nuke after doing this Baron Gauntlet. I mean, again, if, you are, let's say, maybe there's 3 to 6 spells left to go, you have a 50-50 shot of getting the Nuke if you don't have it yet. So yeah, I would do it if I don't have it yet after I get through this.
And Fiery is cursing Cecil now. Probably, that almost makes me feel like he is going to challenge the basement at some point.
Yep, is actually...
Or underground, maybe? Yeah.
Is going to leave. So, okay, this is a check of Evelyn Castle, it looks like. Okay. because Fu has quaked, so I guess the goal here is going to be simply to have Fu quake down the bosses that are not the uh, ogres, and then maybe swag rocks to get rid of the ogre chest.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And meanwhile, we did see Scarcerer get through Changing Room by using a J item, as you suggested earlier.
Items are fun. It's always interesting to try a seed that they've been taken away on. Yeah, Fu gets to act first, so there's a quake that takes care of the annoying cats.
And I don't think we found any holy swords at Eblin, did we?
I don't recall seeing any, so I think Eblin is a bit of a zonk here for this. Jaybrun
I
is
think
giving us the cheeky check of the trap chest here in the Tower of Zot, because does not have the Earth Crystal, so can't get through this tower yet.
yeah, and now we do have all 4 runners on stream with their Paladin online.
Yep, a little dangerous here with the low HP, but gets through it. Hey, Holy Sword! So once again, the Flame Dog chest happens to pay out. It seems to do that more often than not.
Yes, it seems like the Flame Dog is the one who's deciding who the king is today by distributing none other than Excalibur.
Look, the reason it's the Flame Dog is because the Lady of the Lake didn't take care of the dog. It ended up basically dying of thirst, then just feeling on fire.
And here's the Miscave check.
It is just a plague on your house.
Yeah, we don't want to deal with that, unless maybe we have food.
Even if I had to, I wouldn't want my house cursed.
Do you think any of the other runners are going to go and pet the fiery dog?
Scarcer might do that because I know that I think he was fond of doing that during our last tournament, which was the Ebon Elixir League.
And Harumph has found the officer-soldier fight at Baron 2.
Yeah. Fiery is still taking out Ebon Castle. Again, that's not going to be difficult with what he's got. Arty Arrows is the third item there. Okay, so it was White Shirt, Arty Arrows, and a Dragoon Spear.
And Scarcer just got through for Bull, and I think that means he's the second of our runners to get through for Bull.
Yeah, so has the hook. Now, we'll probably check this rat tail that he's had for a while. At least I would think so, just because you never know.
Okay, Fiery's done with Eblin Castle and is going back to Baron.
Yep, is going to spend the night at the Hotel 6 Baron.
And Scarcer is now getting their hovercraft out of the ground.
Yes, first we have to remove the dead body in the castle, though.
Yeah, it's very important to bring out your dead.
Yes. Not quite sure why the Damesean Parking Authority requires it to take their hovercraft, but you don't make the rules around here.
As you predicted, Scarcer is going rat tail.
Yep, and we'll get the news that it's like, oh, if someone else checked this early, I could be quite behind in getting underground. As it turns out, Fiery hasn't dove the underground yet, so Scarcer could still be the first one to get down there.
Yeah, it's kind of a question of how badly do you want to check the Eblin route first?
Yeah, because there's a character down there, so I mean, and we know because we've seen it. Fading the hook route for the character is not ideal in this seed because you've got the Fu Man down there. All of your black spells and white spells you could want.
And additionally, for those not in the know, we are still looking for Edward, and maybe that for those of them who don't know, they could be thinking that's Edward in Eblin Caves.
Yep, we are still looking for the Edward, and yeah, we still got a fair number of places to check for Edward, but it's one of those checks you don't want to necessarily leave behind just in case he is there and is only there. And since there's a boss hunt on, you at least want to get the check of who the second boss on the route is.
Additionally, if you can get enough levels on your paladin, Cecil will get exit, which can give you a quick way out of there if you need it.
Yeah, so let's see. Starts with drop the magma key in the well. And we'll dive underground. So first underground, about 34 minutes.
And meanwhile, Jabrun and Fiery are doing their Baron Castle liberation now.
This is an interesting play if Scarsfer's going to check the Dwarf Castle because the warp glitch is on and he does not have anybody that can actually do that right now. And we do have a character in the seed who can do it.
I mean, he's also thinking there's two bosses there that could be required. The Dwarf Castle itself is a requirement. Additionally, there's still the Edward character check.
Yep, we can see that D-Imps is the first boss here.
Overall, not a really scary boss to see at this spot.
Yes, meanwhile, Harvey will be pleased with the fact that a harp user is one of the stone characters in Baron Castle.
So I think at this point, pretty much all of them are through Baron Castle.
Yep, so there's going to be now a nice move of the party underground. So if you thought the Camelot was funny over the ground with the shenanigans going on in Baron Castle, wait till you see what's going on at the Dwarf Castle.
Well, Jabrun's also going underneath the castle to the basement.
This is a Baigan. That's not the nicest to see around here because Baigan will be punchy, and he will be 3 times punchy.
And much like the Black Knight from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, even if you cut off his arms, he'll still try to kick you.
Yes, and we can't cut off his legs. Fire would have a much better time with this fight, which he's going to see, because he has Fu, he has Quake. That Quake will one-shot those arms.
Slicer is through Dwarf 1, and it looks like Harumph is checking out Eblin Cave.
Yep, we'll take the monster chest that Fiery did not on his way down. I'm looking for a Holy Sword.
And Fiery did reset out of that, didn't want to take on Baigan after all.
We have a Blue Robe. This is either a Gauntlet or it is a Water Hag. Oh, and we have Tella. Warp cast saved. So we'll ditch Yang. Oh, or we'll ditch Sid, okay. We have Warp. Bailed out by the game. And it's a Water Hag. Double bailout.
This is kind of not a great spot for Water Hag because it's already a fairly low HP spot anyway. You might want to see something rougher here and to save that Water Hag for a spot that is more difficult to deal with. But it shouldn't be any problem to get through.
No, I mean, the thing is, though, if you see a Blue Robe, it's like, please let it be the Water Hag. Please let it be the Water Hag. because the gauntlet here is just going to take a lot of time, especially because until you saw that Tella, you did not have any way of really doing an AoE attack against it.
Yeah, I suppose if the choice is which blue robe would you rather peek under, this is the better one.
J-Brun is spending some time on this Baigan. We're down to just Holy Sword Cecil left, so... Oh, and Baigan's down. Just have to avoid an explode. Uh-oh. Oh, by 14 hit points.
Yeah, that was a nasty loss there.
Looks like it's going to go back and take it again.
Harumph is going deeper down the hook route, and Fiery has also headed off to Dwarf Castle, doing objectives like we were supposed to.
Look, the objectives are a suggestion. You can fade them as long as you want.
And that's a pan from the Warp Glitch.
Ooh, okay. Well, that opens up 2 more checks. And Luke is going to show us the latest in Dwarven fashion. Latest Dwarven fashion is wearing spears.
Yep, more spears for Kane to try to use at the same time and fail.
No, this is just more spears for him to stab into people's backs.
Harumph has also found Fusoya, and Fiery Blizzard is about to take on the Dark Imps.
Yeah, this must be the dark version of Fu because Harumph has reversed the name of Fu.
Yeah, that Dark Imp stood no chance against Fu with Quake.
Let's see. Well, Harumph has found a Levia orb, which is good for selling in this seed because you can use it.
Yep, again, Rydia is part of the Sir not appearing in this flag set.
Found a Stardust Rod for that Fu. That will really get those spells going. So occasionally it does pay to be a loot goblin.
And since, we already have Fu, we don't need the Fu at home that is Tella.
Found a darkness crystal in the Feymarch freebie. Oh boy, this underground is loaded. Now, a question that always comes up when you find a darkness crystal, before you clear out the underworld is, when do you break off and go for the moon? Because, you have the tower key, you can do all of Babel, you could do the Feymarch, or you could go to the moon.
And, there's potential with any of those options because it is K-Moon, so there's got to be something up there. The question is it a useful something?
Yes, as everyone who remembers the phrase Haunted Moon is aware, there could be key items up there that just might not be of any value at all. There don't have to be any required bosses up there either. The odds might say it. Okay, so we have Blue Robe, and that's the Gauntlet, and so does Scarcer. And we have Ruby, because he's already seen elements. So, yeah.
It looks like Scarcer is taking Ruby.
Yeah, now, is going to berserk this Rosa up. That looks like.
So, your prediction from a lot earlier turns out to be true. That Baigan in the Baron Basement had the Legend Sword.
Well, true king of Camelot, apparently, should be having a sword in the stone, basically. And we'll see if we can get the companion to the Legend Sword. Last seed didn't quite work out, given where things were placed.
But nonetheless, that is an extremely valuable Baron Castle.
Yeah, Rosa must have ice arrows because she is tearing it up. And this is not a place where Ruby's fire to counter is terribly strong.
It did look like Scarcer had been adjusting their equipment and inventory at the beginning of the fight, so that's entirely possible.
With over 2,000 damage a shot, it's got to be ice arrows. I can't think of anything else that would do it at this point. And that looks like a blue arrow, 4,000. Okay, yeah, this is going to be a not long for this world Ruby.
Harumph is going down the hook route, and it doesn't look like Harumph actually checked the rat tail.
Yep. So this is the other way to play the seed, and we know there's not any payoff here in terms of bosses. We'll give a little bit of experience at the second boss of this spot.
Fiery Blizzard, on the other hand, is checking the Sylph Cave trap chest, probably still looking for holy weapons.
Yeah. Now this is a Kenazo here, so I mean, it is not a fun thing to see down here at the hook route. Scarcer resets out of the Ruby fight. Fiery is going to take the Newt chest.
Yeah, and Scarcer did see the Waterhead, so does know that that is also a gauntlet.
Yeah, and we'll now go and turn in the pan, the Sylph Cave. Jaybrun has finally gotten the hook from Fabul Castle. And we'll see if...
Oh, sorry, go on.
I would say also we'll see if he also decides to check that red tail before moving down to see if his hook route chances.
And I was just going to say that Scarcer is not really incentivized to check the Sylph Cave trap test, having already found Excalibur.
Ooh, there's an Avenger. That's nice.
And Jaybrun does turn into Rat Tail.
Yeah, we got the good news that the hook route is not required.
So some scary fight over there on Harumph's side, though.
Yeah, the turtle in this spot is very scary, even though Cecil and Fu make it not quite so bad. It is still going to hurt, and Harumph is going to reset out of that. And we see that there's an Earth Crystal and a Power Shirt with Sheila. So Sheila 1 had the goods, Sheila 2 not so much.
And that Earth Crystal does have 2 character checks, so one of those could be our Edward. There's also 2 boss fights. We're still looking for DKC and Wyvern.
And D-Mist, if we want to add a third one in there. Never know, all it takes is D-Mist having something like, the Adamant, and, then it's like, if you have to do everything else if you don't happen to do that.
I think in terms of key items, Scarcer really only needs to find the Legend Sword at basement and wherever the Adamant is, because apart from that, it looks like Scarcer has access to everything else at this point.
Yeah, I mean, technically Scarcer can just ignore that, because if your goal is you're going to do the other checks, he doesn't have to get those. He can leave the Forge as the thing he doesn't do. In which case, he's just looking for the Wyvern, he's looking for DKC, and he's looking for Edward. Those are it. And in terms of characters, the only character check he doesn't have access to is the package. He can check every other character spot.
Right. And meanwhile, Jabron has a magma key, but is still going to check out the hook route just in case I'm assuming just in case hook 1 is required. And we'll probably learn that it isn't.
Yes. Yeah, we kind of, it's always nice being in the booth in no mode. Oh, and we've got a check of the treasury. Found some nice Hanzo steel there. Some
I saw
apples.
an Artemis bow.
Yeah, Artemis bow, defense swords, Stardust rod. Okay, this is a 9 out of 10 treasury, easily.
And even if you found some of those at other locations, you can still sell them and get more J items or whatever you might need.
Yeah, I mean, with this being a win seed, I mean, other than something nasty on the move that's required, there's a lot of shopping left to go.
Fiery Blizzard also checking Flame Dog, it looks like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's checking him because he's up here for the Earth Crystal check. It makes sense to just get out of the way.
And that's where the Holy Sword you were looking for the entire time was.
Yeah, so instead of a lake, this time we put the Holy Sword on a flying tower.
And Scarcer has also come back to Zot for round 2.
Yep, we'll also get this Holy Sword out of the chest.
So, okay, yeah, I was mistaken earlier. I thought Scarcer was the one, but I believe it's actually Jabron who has did the. I know one of them did, right?
Yeah, Jabron did it first, but you know, the sincerest form of flattery is copycat. So there's been copycatting in terms of key items.
Harumph is through that Kinazu and is fallen down a pit.
The pit is undefeated, and we find that there are dolls sitting at the top of the Tower of Zot, not a required boss, and unless it is exactly the adamant or a package that's hiding Edward, not required at all.
And
Tradebirds
Jabron
take
and her.
I was going to take the easy way down to the underground.
Yeah, I was just going to say they both reach underground at about the same time.
And drumroll, please. The first boss in Zot is a Bahamut. So this will be free here because Fu is just going to nuke this thing to bits. And we hope you like Dragon Soup because there are pieces of Bahamut now all over the Tower of Zot.
Meanwhile, Jabron looks like at least going to check tower, maybe.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, got the tower key, so there's no reason to put this off. It is Dr. Luggage, one of the more annoying bosses here, just because it's going to take at least a few cycles, maybe some dialogue.
Yeah, and there's 2 parts to it, so it's not less than ideal. You usually just want something you can hit once and then be done with at this location.
We see that the Tower of Zot has Sid in the first character slot. Not what we're looking for. Ooh, but here's a bard.
So that should be objective 5 for Fiery Blizzard.
I've lost track. Maybe our track
It has Officer, Baron, Castle, Golbez, and Dwarf Castle already.
Okay, we're getting a confirmation from the tracker that yes, this is 5. The Fiery needs 2 more. Scarcer is down to needing a DKC and a Wyvern, which is, I believe, the same situation that Fiery is in.
Yeah, Scarcer's just a few steps behind Fiery right now. Meanwhile, Jabron is going to go and meet the dolls at the top of the tower.
That sounds oddly bad when you put it that way.
I mean, as you said, unless this is what like package or adamant, it's not really anything special going on here.
Yeah, no. It's a pink tail for having completed the Tower of Zot, which in this case is not going to give you an adamant armor because we've turned the adamant flag off of this seed. But, you know, there are chances it could be a nice weapon, but you've already got a Holy Sword, you got a Defense Sword for Kane, you got an Arty Bow. There's really nothing that would really be necessary from that check, so that's what anyway to turn it in, this seed.
And just seeing how things have gone so far, it's probably would be another spear.
Yes, it'll be better than the Spear, but it's not going to be worth the time. And there's no reason to double back, because the Rat Tail was already turned in to get the Magma Key. Unless you're Harumph, in which case you might do it because you haven't turned in the Rat Tail yet. And, yeah.
Harumph did find the pan behind the warp glitch, though.
Yep, and Fiery has found the Darkness Crystal, and we'll see if Fiery decides to chase this. Scarcer's had it for a few minutes, but has not peeked anything behind it yet.
I have to admit, I did not catch what was behind the dolls that Jay Brunter just got, but I don't see anything lighting up, so I'm wondering if it was just a zonk.
I didn't catch it either, so... Okay, it was an item of some sort, not required, so... Unfortunately, the Tower of Babel looks like it might be a complete zonk unless there's something coming out of this cannon that we'll see now as Golbez decides to blow up the bridge to the tower, and we'll see if there's anything out of that.
Scarcer is going to the basement and will, if gets through that bag, and we'll find the legend sword there.
Yeah, which is half an objective. I'm not sure if it's really worth the time unless you happen to just luck yourself into the adamant at some point.
And I don't think Scarcer has found Fusoya yet either.
No, has steadfastly refused to check this hook route. It has less incentive to now because has seen Edward.
And we do have Harumph going up the tower as well.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like there was also a zonk from the cannon room because I don't see any objectives lit. I'm sorry, key items lit up down there either that are new.
Well, luckily for Scarcer, it seems like everyone else wants to check the tower too, so won't lose quite as much time that way.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. There was a package down there in the cannon room. Okay. That's a spicy check if someone decides to do it because if you haven't seen Edward yet, that's a character, and it might have one of our bosses. It's been known to happen before, and you're still missing 3.
So yeah, right now it just feels like they're sort of going over everyone else's territory at this moment. We got J-Run doing the dwarf check. Everyone else seems to be in tower, and I'm not sure where Scarcer ended up. Oh, Scarcer's doing tower.
Yep, in the tower as well. There's a lot of coconut shell banging going on in the Tower of Babel right now. So, we will see who the first one is to dive the moon or the giant, because that's still looming larger in the background now as we get running out of boss checks here.
Yeah, it does seem like taking advantage of that darkness crystal sooner rather than later may pay off.
Now, there are 8 bosses that can be accessed directly from the Darkness Crystal, and if you're missing 2 or 3 of them, it's like you're already used up about, I think, 15, 16 of the bosses out of the 34. So,
Also, I think a lot of them have had that Luca key for a while and haven't needed to use it because of Warp Glitch, but that could be a DKC or Wyvern down there.
it could be, or it could be a demist, which might be holding an adamant. You never know.
But we do have
Or-
Harumph checking Self Cave, and everyone else is still doing the checks they were previously.
Yep, so no new ground being covered just yet.
So, Garen, out of the 4 runners here, who do you think is going to be the first to go ahead and check the moon?
Maybe an Irish prophet and wait until after Fiery gets out of the Tower of Babel here to tell you what my answer will be. Alright, Harumph is opening the Agert Mountain, the reverse direction, which goes fittingly with the fact that Vasoya's name is reversed. And is going to check this rat tail out now and find out that he took a little bit of extra time going underground.
It does look like Fiery is going to go ahead and check what's at the bottom of Sealed Cave, though.
Alright, so in this case I'm going to say Scarcer is going to check the moon first. Of course, if I was being a real Irish prophet, wait until one of them actually gets on the whale. That would be the best time to say what my prediction is.
And then they betray you by going giant first.
You wait until they click the crystal in order to say it. I've known to make a cheeky giant play or so when there's a boss hunt on. Get off the last time I did. And, ooh, there's an Edward at the package spot, too. So, unfortunately for Harumph, he's going to sit through this, as D-Mist blows up its own town. Okay.
Yeah, the Earth Crystal is at Sheila 1, I believe, and although I think he did the pan check, he didn't turn in the pan yet.
No, so we'll end up sitting through this. Doesn't have to because, well, I mean, Tower Zot's also a fairly longish check, so you'll trade this for not having to go through Zot, probably.
I mean, there still is whoever boss happens to be behind this, so this could actually pay off for him.
Yeah, if there's a DKC or a Wyvern or a D-Mist.
Well, we have found, looks like we have found the DKC at Sealed Cave.
Okay, so at least one cheeky boss check is on the table.
And Jay Bronter is also doing the package check.
And since it doesn't have the Earth Crystal, we'll also sit through it because it does not know there's another Edward in the seed yet. And Fiery is one objective away from winning the race. So all Fiery needs to see is a Wyvern. At this point, has access to every boss except the Twin Harp and the package check, so it should just be in a face check mode at this point.
Yeah, Fiery has not defeated the Baigan in the basement. I think Jay Brunter is the only one who has the Legend Sword at this point, so really it seems like just face checking until you find Wyvern is the best option.
Wright is calling up a funeral apparently over there in the chat.
And it also looks like Scarcer has in fact betrayed you.
That's okay. Oh, the package is also required. There's a Wyvern here.
So apart from Adamant Rock, we have no mode.
Yes. And unfortunately for Fiery, he is going here to Mist, but does not actually have the. Or does he have the pack? He does. Will he sit through it? If he does, he's going to win the game.
Yeah, this is just. I think it's worth it to sit through if you're in face check mode because this is could. We know this is going to basically be a win for him.
Hmm? Did Fiery go through the Tower of Sun? I forgot. Oh yeah, he did, because he has a pink tail. So I'm kind of surprised he's taking this, but he's doing a cheeky check. It's going to pay.
I mean, sometimes those cheeky checks just totally pay off, and this looks like such a case.
Yep, so unfortunately we know that this means that Scarcer is chasing ghosts up here in the Giant. The only you could possibly find here would be a D-Mist somewhere that would give you an Adamant Rock in the turn. That's about it.
Yeah, there's a lot of hauntedness remaining at this point.
Yes. Meanwhile, okay, J-Brun, again, did the runners have the Wyvern sitting at package at this point, which is hilarious. Yes, right, it is a funeral mass, because I just heard that literally less than 3 hours ago.
So Scuster is still checking out the Giant, I think. Jay Prunter's in Sylph Cave, and Harumph is headed off to Toria.
Yep, and Fiery is going to get a good laugh out of this, as we'll take a nice win. So GG's to Fiery.
And I will probably see if we get Fiery in for an interview very shortly.
Scarcer has found a Nope Noodle on the Giant. Oh boy. I would not be wanting to sit through this one.
And it looks like Fiery was second overall. Rybon finished first off Restream. And it looks like Fiery's official time is going to be 1 hour, 4 minutes, 44 seconds. So GG.
Alright, Harumph is doing the Tower of Zot, and we'll find there's a duplicate Edward up here. We are joined by Fiery Blizzard. GG.
Thank you. I was hopeful that there wasn't going to be a dupe Eddie in the seed, and so seeing a package Edward was sort of like, this is going to feel real silly when Wyvern is here too. And what do you know?
Yeah, as it turns out, on stream, 3 of the 4 racers have already done the package check, because the other 2 did not do Zot first, so that was their first Eddie.
Yeah, I kind of wrote this in the race spoiler, that if you do Tower before Pan, then you're going to take that package boss regardless. Me, I was just trying to avoid doing, like, raising the whale at all in the seed. And, you know, it was one of those things, like, because I already had Edward and I was already at basically one objective to go, I had neither parts of Forge. I was checking that package boss regardless, clearly, because I didn't reset over an Edward. It was like I already committed to walking the tower out, when in reality I should have been in face check mode. Let's just take the package boss.
And it turned out it was the right play to make this time around. 2 cheeky boss spots, as it turns out. A sealed cave boss is required, and a sea wave with the warp glitch on, and a free tele right there to make sure that you don't miss the warp glitch. And then, yeah, package boss.
Yeah, I mean, it's I have no idea where either parts of Forge are. Probably on the moon, I'm guessing.
Legend Sword was actually on the Earth. That came from help me out here.
That's basement behind Baigen.
Oh, the Baigen. Okay. Makes sense.
Bargain basement Baigen. We just saw the D-Mist on stream that is in Cave Value.
I thought the D-Mist was burning the Mist Village, but okay.
But it was doing that too, but it's bilocating.
Fair. I mean, I was hoping defeat or get Edward would come up when the statue was of Edward in Baron.
I'm sure it made Harumph happy to see that. And yeah, there's not going to be any music checks today, I don't think, because that Twin Harp has not showed up on anybody's stream yet.
Yeah.
However, we just saw on Fiery Blizzards that that's where the adamant is actually behind Harp.
Now, where is the Twin Harp, though? That's where we haven't seen yet, right?
I don't believe I've seen that rolled by.
Now, anyways, so yeah, any thoughts on the flag set or the seed overall? It's kind of a bit of a jet, although it did have a bit of a trick in that, you got the hook first, but it was not a hook route seed.
Is the heart going to be behind that D-Mist? That's a fun little chain there. Or like a flag set where I could just basically sort of
there it is.
Node out kind of deal. In the sense, it's like power isn't really an issue with T Wildish. There were no free holy swords in the front of Sylph or Eblin Castle, which was very surprising. And then Flame Doggo, of course, had an X-Cal. It's like, okay.
Yeah, through the 4 races, I've checked that too.
I was considering at one point being like, if we get an early Darkness Crystal, I'm just going to go to the LST traps and get my Holy Sword from there. But it didn't happen. I got Darkness Crystal pretty late because I just put off Feymarch until pretty much the end. Then I saw, I guess, Ruby and Algala. I'm like, I'm good. I'm face checking anyways, it's fine.
Yeah, feigning that really did pay off for you since all of the really important stuff was just elsewhere.
Yeah. It just, at that point, I was looking at my tracker. I'm like, I got 2 boss spots left between the package and the harp. And by the time I saw, I went to the top of the tower and I went to Dr. Luque in the center, I was just like, I don't know why I'm not resetting, but I guess I'm just not resetting. So let's just continue on. And so that really paid off because I was really closer to seeing that Dr. Luque and being like, I'm just not going to bother. At which point, the chain would have been pretty bad. It would have been pretty much a last location to redo that tower.
Yeah, and right now it's looking like your most inspired decision was to go ahead and check Sealed Cave since the other 3 have not checked that yet and instead chosen to go to the moon.
Yeah, it's again just sort of wanting to not really raise the will, and not wanting to spend the time. Well, it's odds-wise, it's a terrible play. It's a little bit on seeing Rybon finish at 55 minutes and being like, okay, I don't think it's just at Ribbon and like White Spear. It could have been, and so it was a little bit of that and a little bit of being like, I just don't want to raise the will. And I don't want to leave something down in Sealed Cave. We played a number of seeds where, for whatever reason, the randomizer likes to put a boss there that you need. And it's like, okay, it takes a minute and a half to go down there. And if it's nothing, it's less time than walking the moon.
And this seed was, had a lot of tricks to play, very high value Baron Castle, and the very high value package.
Yeah, no, that was, I want to say the, last Monday seed that I played, that had a triple required, I think it was it Ogopogo at the Ribbon Room that held the Baron Key, that had 3 objectives behind it, between the Liberate Baron Castle, Golbez at Baron Basement, and the Adamant Rock by Golbez. I don't know. I want Scarsor to get an adamant armor here. Shut down free enterprise. Let's go. Let's see it.
You know, just because you're frustrated to see, there's no reason to take down the entire thing.
Now, in terms of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, what would the Pink Puffs be? Are they the Knights Who Say Knee?
They'd almost have to be, right?
It could be Frenchmen, too. You never know.
I believe that's officers and soldiers. Where is the save? There you are. I don't know whether or not we're going to see music on the stream because I sort of doubt someone actually takes that D-Mist. Maybe.
At the rate things are going, I think someone's probably going to be taking it because they are 3 out of 4 are going to be making this moon play.
I'll spoil it for myself anyways. Dave can cut my stream if he doesn't want it spoiled on stream.
He's already got to try and cut Scarcer's stream off if the worst of case scenario happens there.
You mean best case scenario?
Your mileage may vary on which way you go on that.
It does seem like Jay Brunter is about to check Sealed Cave, though.
Good.
Yes. Oh. Main theme from Final Fantasy 1. Okay.
Good song. No, but I mean, I enjoy this flag set. It's pretty I mean, it's an 0-win game, so there's no Zeromas, but it's sort of a nice, quick one that sort of has a little bit of sprinkling in everything, but certainly not lacking for power. So it's a nice little seed.
Yeah, it's a bit of a change of pace. Win seeds are always a bit of a change of pace in that regard. My last question is, do you have any dead to bring out?
I can't implicate things. I don't know. It might be a duck. Might be a witch. But no, I have not heard the bells. So, no, I do not have any dead to bring out, unfortunately. Or fortunately.
Alright, and I guess we'll see here now if these pink puffs happen to yield anything here.
Come on.
The fight is over.
I was on restream, or I was being streamed when the last adamant armor dropped. Want to see
Yes,
again.
you're on the wrong channel.
Ooh,
Yay! we dodged the bullet.
But we got 2 drops out of that, so...
Yes, and 500,000 gold that is completely useless at this point to Scarcer.
But with that, I'll get going. I definitely want to thank Uguarian and Joker for commentating, Dave for putting on the restream, and Bardic Panda for tracking. It's been a while since I've pressed the buttons. Maybe I should get back into that too. But I do want to wish you all a good night. Thank you for the seed.
All right, thank you for racing, and GG again.
And GG to Jay Brunter, who just finished up with that DKC and Sealed Cave.
GG, Stan.
Off stream, we did have Lord Bobry finish in 3rd place with 1:13:07, and Jay Brunter's official time in 4th place overall is going to be 1:15:56. So very close right there.
Yep, and 1:16 is still a very good time for this flag set, considering what was throwing at you.
Yeah, there's definitely some misleading anyone who got that darkness crystal.
Yes, early darkness was a big booby trap in this particular seed.
And we'll also see if Jay Brunter wants to come in and say a few words too. In the meantime, Scarcer and Harumph are still on the moon. I guess we're going to have to find if Harumph ends up taking that D-Miss and then finds Twin Harp.
I think Harumph might just FF if that happens.
On Scarcer's side, though, we do see Antline in its natural habitat.
Yes, always fun to see antlion on the moon because even though on its vanilla spot it is basically a pushover, on the moon it gets very, very punchy and will ruin your day if you don't have any good defenses against it. And we do see that the holy crystal that we were requesting for was in the ribbon room all along. So even though the moon is haunted, it did have the quest item we were looking for in lore anyways. You're just never going to find it.
I mean, that's also keeping in very much in with the movie, because they didn't find the Holy Grail in the movie either, as I recall.
No, they were never meant to find it anyways. Plus, they didn't have the budget for Holy Grail to begin with. Scarcer will get it though, because did finish up that antlion. So yay to Scarcer for finishing the meta and getting the Holy Crystal, and ending in this case probably the Monty Python franchise as opposed to the Free Enterprise franchise.
At least until we do Meaning of Life or Life of Brian themed flag sets.
Talk to Tallgran about that one in the Film Friends Club. Rumpf is going to be right behind and doing this antlion. Oh, well, I guess we'll reset out.
And is Harvey in face check mode just looking for DKC at this point?
Might be. I mean, the only spot that Harumph doesn't have access to is the Twin Heart boss, exactly. Yep, I know to the Magus sisters.
And Scarcer found Odin, I believe that's White Spear Altar.
Yep, so Scarcer is taking all the things. Must be looking for that Twin Heart, because there's no other real reason to take these unless you want the forge items.
Did Scarcer turn in package? Because if he didn't, then he's also still looking for Wyvern.
3 of the racers did it. I think Harumph and Jabram were the other 2 that did, though.
And Harumph is also going for the Knights Who Say Knee.
Okay, so I'm not sure if we ever had 2 Pink Puff attempts on stream at the same time before. Or on the same stream, anyways.
Scarcer is going ahead and trying to fight the Mega Sisters at Masa Altar.
Yep.
And sort of while we're going over the sort of already tread ground, are there any events coming up for Free Enterprise in the next couple days?
Yes, we do have on Wednesday, there's a special restream coming up of the end of the Survivor Hero Island Club. I know you were taking part in that earlier, Joker Mage, so yeah, that's the last race of the season. We're going to find out who the survivor is. We got a few little jokes, tricks, and memes up the sleeve for that one. And let's see, the next restream after that, I believe this coming Thursday, we have the Pink Puff League, if I remember right. Let me go back and take a look at our schedule here. Let's see. Yeah, Pink Puff League is on Thursday at 8 o'clock. On Hero Island on Wednesday, that's at 9 o'clock. Also on the Free Enterprise channel that we're on right now. Pink Puff League is Thursday at 8 p.m. on Free Enterprise. And then we'll also be having a Mom's Spaghetti Club race at 3 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, also on Free Enterprise. So those are good things to look forward to coming up. Feel free to join us. Check out our Discord. And again, thanks to our racers, Scarcer, Jbrun, Rumph, Fiery Blizzard, our restreamer, Entry Dave, and our tracker, Bardic Panda, and also you, Joker Mage. Give her a follow.
I was just going to say, and thank you as well, sir. But yeah, Scarcer did get through that Mega Sisters and found a white shirt.
Okay, is Harumph just trying to do as many pink puffs as he can to just try and get this adamant? This is the second fight of pink puffs.
It's entirely possible that he realized that there's a very strong possibility of Twin Harp and just wants to, set fire to everything rather than take that Twin Harp. And we're about to see Crystal Sword Altar on Scarcer's side.
Yeah, just some guards.
We can turn them into newts and no problem with them.
Why turn them into newts? You can turn them into stone.
I mean, the lesson is there's a lot of stuff you can do to these guys to not have to deal with them.
One of the key ones being not fighting them. Alright, while Scarcer does that, we're going to see if we dodge a bullet for a third time on this free stream. Yep, that's just an elixir. And Rumph has decided to stop trying to burn down for Enterprise. Yay!
Rumph also looks like headed up to Crystal Sword, going to find the guards. I assume we'll just reset out.
Probably. That would probably lead Harumph to doing cave value. Scarcer finds a sand ruby up here. Not anything we really need at this point. It will trigger an inventory boss.
Yeah, I think they went beyond 10 key items a long time ago, so there's not even like XP bonus associated with this.
No, and since we know the moon is haunted, there's nothing else that's going to be challenging in terms of fights, unless she takes on the giant, which we know is also not required. So, yeah.
It's kind of a... I'm sorry, I was just going to say, it was kind of a decision. Do you go take the cave value, or do you go check sealed cave at this point?
Well, Harumph is going to do the giant. So, okay. We'll discover this is not anything that's required either. Scarcer is going to do cave value. We'll see if he resets a demist or not.
He's not even scouting it, just headed right in.
I think at this point, Scarcer has pretty much got the power to take on anything that shows up. I mean, that Yang is at 4,000, Cecil's at 3,000.
The D-Mist still can be kind of annoying, just any kind of really fast, punchy spot.
True, but I mean, the nice thing about this D-Mist is that it happens to give you a break after 3 attacks, so then it will turn into Mist. And if it's not dead before you get to that phase, then we're going to see a lot of time spent dealing with lots of cold mists coming through. Trying to avoid it by zerking everybody up. That's the third punch. So hurry, hurry, hurry. Time is limited.
And we're getting the giant check for Harumph.
Yep, and you will find the Canadian Nope Noodle sitting here at the first spot. D-Mist has turned into Mist, so now we are going to see about a minute worth of cold mists coming up on Arthur's side, because I think there's at least 3 Zerk people on this party.
Harumph has decided to reset out of that and is going to pursue other avenues.
Yes, the Nope Noodle has a very low reward possibility. We'll go back to the Earth. Let's see if the whale gets swag park anywhere.
Yeah, and since Harumph has skipped Cave Value, it seems it's probably likely that he might do Sealed Cave after all.
Well, I think he's got Sealed Cave and maybe Fey March left? Yeah, straight shot to Sealed Cave. So this will be good. Harumph will pick up one of the objectives he's missing here.
Yeah, at this point, this fight is win game for Harumph.
Yes, because he has seen and defeated the wyvern that was at the package spot. Hasn't forged the legend sword yet, but that's not really a problem here. Has gotten through all the rest of it. So yes, this will do it.
Assuming Scarcer gets through D-Mist, Scarcer might be the only one we actually see forge legend sword.
But we get the sword in the knot stone, the Excalibur. Well, Harumph isn't even saving. He must know this has probably got to be it based on what he's seen. Or at least he has to know that one of the 2 bosses is here.
And as Fiery mentioned, you can sort of tell when other people have ended, so it's possible Harumph has seen that others have gone through and realized there's probably a faster way.
It's possible. Has not healed up before this fight, so okay, Eddie did not get a chance to hide, but this will be fine. Kane and Cecil will survive.
Yeah, and it is worth noting that this is free as long as you can have high enough HP.
Yep, down goes the DKC. And that's GG for Harumph. Scarcer gets a crystal sword from that D-Mist. Okay.
So Harumph has finished 3rd place on stream, 5th place overall with official time of 1:31:01.
Alright, so we'll see if Scarcer decides to turn in this D-Mist thing. Is healing, so this means we might be seeing the Giant instead. Hey, there's Harumph. GG.
Thank you. I'm sure you have questions.
I'm sure you have questions too, mainly for NG Dave, but
No, not really here. It's the C was straightforward here. I just routed it terribly.
yeah, I mean, we saw that you eventually checked the rat tail after you dove the hook route, so you're the only one who actually saw that turtle sitting there.
Yeah, and then wiping on that here because I wasn't anticipating turtle to be that slow at that position here. So
Well, hey, at least you had a Cecil and a Foo for it. I mean, there have
Yeah.
been worse combinations to see that on that thing, and you got through it fairly quickly, all things considered. But yeah, the seats had some jokes for you. I mean, you had a wyvern sitting at a package. You had a DKC hiding out in the sealed cave, and it's like no one probably was going to miss the warp glitch because hey, he had a tele there right in the dwarf castle.
Right. Right. There's I don't know what can I say here. Like I saw the finish coming early here, so I figure here that we're looking at a face check as opposed to a two item check.
Uh,
Yeah, and I just I if there's a way here to to do something worse than last location underground access, that would be me. I found a way to do that. Um, yeah, so like based on the run here, I expected there to be a boss at package the way we lay out. Probably an Edward there, based on the finish time.
yeah, there was an Edward in a different location too, a Tower of Zod, also at Edward.
Yes, because I went through that as well. Trying to find yeah, because at that point here I was boss hunting. I was looking
Yeah,
for
and
checking all of Moon and half the time before going back to see.
yeah, and you didn't have any of the forge elements because the forge was sitting at the sword was at the wagon at the basement throne,
Yeah,
and the adamant rock was you had to do demist on the moon, which would lead into the twin harp, which would then have led you into the adamant rock.
yeah, that was never gonna happen.
Yeah, my joke was that if you had seen that, you would have FF'd the seed. Although it turned out you tried to FF the whole community by trying some of those pink puffs.
Yeah,
Twice.
yeah. Well, the first time here I actually wiped here because it was getting RNG'd on my hits here.
Mm.
The second one, it was how it should be here, and all I got was a lousy elixir.
Yes, I think it's the first restream we've actually had two racers do the pink puffs trying to attempt to blow things up.
Oh, someone wants to shut this place down.
There are easier ways to ask for a vacation run.
Yeah, I would have been off work for a while here, just trying to get back into things of it here, and I'm actually in quite a bit of pain right now here. So yeah, the race was a way to distract, try to distract me from here, and it did an okay job here because. Yeah, my routing in the way I Raven was pain enough on its own, but it happens.
So, regardless of the specifics of this seed, how do you feel in general about the flag set?
Oh, the flag set, I actually like the flag set. I think it's a good balance between it's a good intermediate flag set. I think here. It's there's room here for like the experts in the game here, like like the Rybons of the world here to show their stuff here. But I think it's still approachable here for those who are who have, start off in the game here and want to get their hand at a more challenging flag sets. Yeah, like I thought, and of course Cecil agility. I think this is a fun flag set for me at least.
Yeah, I think it's overall. I mean, looks like it's been fairly fun to do. I played it last Monday. And I watched it going out twice on stream, so it's like it seems like it's worked out pretty well for the most part. It's just that occasionally the progression is hidden in some cheeky places.
Yeah, well, it wasn't so much cheeky as I just forgot to check. Yeah, like one thing I'm really bad at is checking off my key items. So I knew I had a hook here, but I forgot to check it off here. So that point here, so I don't have a glaring reminder saying do Antlion Cave here, which would have saved a bunch of time here and would have probably changed my routing as well.
Well, these things happen at times,
Yeah. Like I'm not overly upset that I forgot a few junk. Aside from the forgetting to do other checks here, I thought I did okay.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you had fun, that's the important part, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the other important thing is you didn't actually get an adamant armor. So yes,
Yeah, well, unfortunately, we did not get the adamant armor. But yeah, this is a good distraction here for me.
well, that's good. We hope you feel better soon.
So do I. Yeah, of course, no, shout out to the team. Of course, this wouldn't be possible here without people like, Garen, Joker Mage on comms, Spartic Panda doing the tracking, and Jade for rolling this non-required harp. Yeah, without them here, this show was possible.
Technically not required, Harper. It was semi-required, I guess I should say.
No, it's strictly non-required. I'll go by that. Anyway, have a great night.
Good night, Haram.
Yep, good night.
Looks like Scarsor is going to find his answer here in the bed.
He did turn into Demas, so he does have Twin Harp, and is the only one we've seen who had Twin Harp.
Yes, has defeated the Wyvern now. Of course, has not done DKC yet, so still has more places to go.
Yeah, and so it's really a question, does he check basement and find the adamant, or does he go do sealed cave at this point?
Now, did Scarsor peek the giant yet?
Multiple times, I think.
Multiple times? Okay. So he knows in that case sealed cave is probably about a 1 in 3, 1 in 4 check. Twin Harp. You should know that the Twin Harp is going to get him the Legend Sword at this point, because you're pretty much almost out of key items otherwise. We'll see where he goes next. Well, we are going to get a music play. Oh, actually, doesn't have either of the forge elements, so he's got to go and do something else after this anyways. Oh, no.
Yeah, he still has to do basement wagon.
So the question is, if he does this and it's not the EKC, which you know it's not going to be, is he going to reset out?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's not that much left. It's kind of just like go see if it's what you need, and if it isn't, maybe just leave and go somewhere else.
Yeah, in Scarcer's case, he hasn't done the basement throne, so I mean, when he sees this isn't going to pay off, he's just going to dive the sealed cave.
I mean, it does feel like sealed cave has kind of been a very sort of deciding factor in the finishes in this particular seed.
Yep, so it looks like we are going to get a music play here for chat, so that's always a fun thing to see. Apologies to Haram, but most other people like this check. Yeah,
And we do have. I'm sorry, I was just going to say we do have chat pointing out that no one has actually checked to see what's behind the Feymarch bosses yet either.
I think we have to have a spoon behind there, because it's the only that's really left. Alright, but we will give you a one and done play of music, so DJ Spoony B, please take it away, and we will talk to you after the other break.
Avenger King making very short work of that.
Yes, Avenger Kane is the one to blame for the fact that music was so short. So send your complaints to Kane at hotmail.com. And yeah, gets the Adamant Rock, but does not have the Legend Sword.
So at this point, I think it is just Basement, Fey March, and Sealed Cave left for Scarcerer.
Yep, so we'll see where Sorcerer goes next. Shows us that if you don't press down when the Black Chocobo lands, you end up back in the forest. We are going to the underground here. Yeah, Scarcer wants to figure out the puzzle. This is the last place that could really have this boss that he's looking for. He's not even taking a safety save, just going right through. Although in this case, with that DKC, there's no real need for a safety save because it's not going to hurt that much here.
And so as we get to the end of this particular seed, also going to point out, I believe we are going to run this seed for one more community race on Friday. It won't be restreamed though. And after that, we will be getting a new flag set.
Yes, the suggestion box is always open for people who have ideas for a flag set community race. So I'm sure someone else's submission is going to get a nice bit of a feature for the next 2 weeks after this. And we'll have some more fun next week for you. Next community race restream will be not this coming Friday, but the Friday afterwards, October the 6th, I believe. So yeah, that will be the next community race restream.
And Scarcer has plenty of HP to get through this.
Yeah, this is just put the controller down, you're done. I have a little bit of a speech about justice, and then, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Let's get to the end here. PKC is down. That is GG to Scarcer. And nobody did the Forge, even though someone did the Harp.
Yep. And so it looks like Scarcer's official time on that is going to be 1 hour 45 and 48 seconds. And I believe Scarcer has joined us. GG, Scarcer.
GG.
So what did you think of this seed's layout?
The numbers plays were not the best.
Nope. Unfortunately, when you've got a package required check and a sealed cave required check on a warp glitch seed, the numbers were not in your favor tonight.
No, and where was the package?
The package...
The package was from the tower key.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
I was trying to remember what the warp glitch item was.
A warp glitch item was Pan.
The pan.
Yeah, and in case you hadn't seen it yet, your forge item was sitting at the Baron basement.
Baron basement.
Yeah, that lovely Beigen in the basement there.
Yeah, that was just a face check. I was like, is this a boss? Nope.
Yeah,
But
when you have
Beigen in
either
Baron basement with that party wouldn't have been bad.
No, but when you don't have any piece of forge and you know you just need boss checks, I mean, it makes sense to just fade most of the checks because the only boss you couldn't get was Twin Harp, and then you found the Twin Harp.
Hmm. Which is why I didn't reset out of that demist.
Yeah. So then the only question we had on stream was after you did the harp, it's like, is he going to go to the basement for the sword? Is he going to go for the sealed cave, which you knew had to be a thing because you think he'd seen every other boss.
Well, I didn't do either of the Feymarch checks, so, but I had checked everything except the CPU spot at that point.
So 50-50 shot versus maybe 1/3 shot.
Yeah, and if DKC was a giant too, I would have gone back for round 2 with that Ogopogo.
As opposed to trying to find the legend sword, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a lot of this seed did sort of rely on checking sealed cave because I recall that if I remember correctly, you were one of the first people to actually get through Baron Castle, and unfortunately, you got led astray by the darkness crystal. It seems.
Yeah, I faded it for a while, but it's like, there's a lot of bosses up there. Surely one of them is required. One of them was eventually required. But
Half required.
oh yeah, half required. Twin Harp was adamant.
Yeah, so I mean, if you didn't do the forge, which nobody actually out of the 4 of you on stream actually did the forge.
Yeah, there still is the
a
question of,
mystery.
is that going to be the Excalibur?
Excalibur. That would be appropriate, but we'll never know.
Someone in the
Or maybe
channel will probably say,
maybe someone off stream went and got it. Maybe Rybon got it.
the Riven was just busy eating the seed's lunch. I mean,
Yeah, he stole the C's lunch money. Also, I'm so glad that Rat Tail was the magma key. Because Turtle at Ruby is always rude.
well, as it turned out, someone on stream actually went and did that because they did not check the rat tail before diving the hook route.
Oh, I feel bad for them.
Yeah, if you rewatch the restream, you'll see it all. But it's like, I mean, with Fu there with Nuke and with Cecil with some good weaponry.
Oh, right, because he checked the darkness crystal for the character, because it could be Edward.
Well, Fu was also on the hook route itself, so I mean,
Oh, Fu was also on the route. That makes more sense.
Yep. So, yeah, you actually didn't check the hook route for the character, so I mean, you were missing the Fu for a lot of that seed.
Oh, and there's also a boss on the hook route. I would have done that after. I would have done that after the giant, because I would have been like, "Where's the boss?"
Well, we can assure you that Hook 1 was Elements.
It was elements. Easy.
Yes, the only one we don't know is what Giant 2 was, because no one sat through that. I don't think.
I just didn't make it through Ogo. I wiped and decided, this ain't it, because it was about the time Rybon finished, I think.
Which probably told you this is probably not the path forward.
Yeah. Well, I had a good time. How did you guys feel after that pink buff fight?
Well, it was nice that we get to keep our jobs.
And funnily enough, you weren't the only one to do it, Garcer, because after you did it, then Harumph also joined in and did it twice.
I did it twice. He really wanted that adamant armor.
I think there was some problems on the first attempt, but it's like, okay, so there's some really strong feelings about this seed tonight.
I just knew it was a good little chunk of XP. It's like, I want a little more XP before doing the Ribbon Room, because the Ribbon Room can be rude, and Antlion is one of the bosses that is potentially rude in the Ribbon Room.
True. Well, you could pick a less world-destroying spot to do your grinding in next time. I mean, it's like you had weak, I'm pretty sure, and some hourglasses. You could have just taken some dragons.
Nah,
They're more XP.
they're more. No, it's the same amount of XP. I got 4 life glitches.
Well,
I
regardless of
suppose if I got a
this,
double life glitch, it would have been more to do.
yeah, but regardless of the specifics of this particular sea, how do you feel overall about the flag set?
Flag set's really fun. I mean, I've done it all 3 times. I think it's a fun flag set. I also really like Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
And you found the equivalent of the Grail in the seed, so might not have ended for Enterprise, but I think you might have ended the Monty Python and the Holy Grail thing.
I found, what's it? Oh, did anyone else find a crystal sword?
I'm talking about the crystal itself. I mean the thing from the ribbon ring.
Oh, yes.
The holy crystal mentioned in the title of the flag set.
Yeah.
What would be really funny is if you had taken it down to Z and had a little chat with him.
I've yet to do that on an Owen flag set. I need to do that at some point. I might next time.
Hey, there's always next time, right?
There's always the next restreamed Owen flag set. Well, once again, Gigi, thank you all for putting on this wonderful show.
Yeah, thank you for racing, and we hope that you enjoy the rest of your night. And if you happen to see any advise any removing with plague, feel free to let us know, and whether they're dead or not.
Hmm. Well, y'all have a good night. Thank you once again.
All right, have a good one.
GG, thanks for racing. In the meantime, we are going to be raiding into Antidale. So if you stick around, you can watch him do a pickup of Inven's miniature tournament concept. Okay. Okay. Turns out we're going to be changing that and instead raiding Tall Grant. So any last thoughts?
It's been fun going through these meme flag sets with you, Joker Mage. Hopefully, we do it again sometime soon.
Well, like I
Thanks.
said, we just need to get Tall Grant in on doing the meaning of life flag set.
Well, unfortunately, I think the Film Friends season is over, so maybe the next season we can try that.
But yeah, that was
Anyways,
a lot of fun. And thanks again to everyone involved, all of our racers, Bardic Panda for tracking, and Jade for running everything behind the scenes, and of course our liege, Garen, king of the commentators.
come on, I'm not the king of the commentators. I've been doing this too little time.
But anyway, thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you. We'll see you again on the next stream. All right.